A retired pastor friend of mine once told me in the United States that he had come across a lot of CEO Christians. And I thought to myself, wow, he must have had a ministry to a lot of very high-powered corporate leaders and titans of the industries, etc. And he told me, no, these guys had nothing to do with business. They were Christmas and Easter only Christians. In other words, they only showed up in church maybe twice a year at most. Now, I certainly hope that you don't find yourself in that category, that you're only in the presence of God or only in church on Christmas Day and on Easter Sunday. I want us to look at what God's expectation of our time with Him is all about and what He expects of us on a daily basis. My name is Reverend Kwame Rubadiri. You're watching CITAM Church Online. Now, most of us would certainly not count ourselves CEO Christians, Christmas and Easter only. We pride ourselves in being faithful and going to church on a weekly basis, perhaps even taking some time in the middle of the week to attend a Bible study. And even if we're not that consistent, we can at least say, yes, I was in church at least once this month or maybe even twice this month. And the issue for me is not how consistently you attend church, but what happens in your life after you attend, and what happens in terms of your walk with God because of your being in the presence of God. Well, we're told in the last part of the second chapter of the book of Acts that every single day the disciples continued to meet together. Every day they met together in the temple courts. They broke bread together in their homes, and they ate together. They were glad and they had sincere hearts. They praised God. They enjoyed the favor of the people, of all the people, and God added to their numbers every single day those who were being saved. There's something about God's expectation about how we should have a daily relationship with Him, as well as a daily interaction with other believers. That is so important to the way in which God shows up and proves Himself and reveals Himself through the body of believers, through the church. One of the things that the church has had to do during this period of pandemic and disruption in 2020 is to find ways to keep the members of the church and others who are outside the church engaged in the things of God, just to make sense of what's going on, but also to introduce them to the fact that there is a God who cares, there's a God who loves us, and there's a God who's concerned about all that we're going through in this time of disruption. God is an everyday God, and our relationship with Him should be one which grows on a daily basis and which reaches out to others who are in need of God and others who are hungry to hear from God on a daily basis. I pray that your habits in interacting with God have been shifted to the degree, especially in 2020, where God is not just someone you want to have a meeting with or a time of prayer with once a week, at most twice a week, but every day of your life, you're interfacing, you're interacting with the Lord, because that's the level of relationship He wants with you and I. It's my prayer that because we have learned so many lessons and so many different things have come to affect our lives on a daily basis in 2020, that you will recognize that the most important decision and change that you can make this year is to give God time every single day and see how that time reaches out to impact the lives of others who need to hear from God, especially through you. The early church and the disciples of the early church recognized that there was something meaningful about relating to God on a daily basis, hearing from Him on a daily basis, and how that helped them not only to bond together and to come together as a body of believers, but also to influence the people all around them. The Bible says that they grew in favor with all people who were in church and out of church, because of that daily interface, that daily relationship with God. I pray that we learn that lesson in 2020, that we build upon it, and that we grow in such a relationship that we won't even have to think about whether we've had time with God today or not. And it is my prayer that every day from now onwards will become meaningful, it will become empowered, It will become an opportunity for you to meet and interface with God like you've never done before. I guarantee it will change your life, it will change your relationships, it will change your purpose. God will use you mightily to His glory. Thank you.